Thomas in Sunderland there.
Hopes for an end to the bloodshed in Syria are fading as an internationally backed deadline for government troops to withdraw from the country's towns and cities has passed.
Fighting's been continuing there and has now spilled into neighbouring Turkey and Lebanon. The UN has called on the Syrian government to honour the ceasefire agreement brokered by the international envoy Kofi Annan.
Police in Northern Ireland have arrested 6 people after the real IRA threatened more attacks on police and soldiers.
Football clubs should pay in full for any public disorder linked to their games. That's the view of the most senior police officer dealing with football in England.
Talks aimed at averting a strike by fuel tanker drivers will resume today after discussions described as constructive were held before Easter.
And a hand-reared polar bear in China is celebrating a big birthday. Well, it's 100 days old.
Oh, this is Sally.
Good morning to you both. They're a bit more scary when they grow up, those things, you know. Very cute now, but not for long.
You are right.
Exactly.
Good morning to you both. Shall we give you some sports news this morning? Let's have a look at the back page of The Guardian. Actually talking about Mancini at the top there. Second place in the Premier League. And here we go, back page of the Mirror. Great pitch. Worried about losing his place, not going to Euro 2012. Might not even play for his country.
Yeah, all right. Let's see what happens. Thanks very much.
Sally, thanks very much. Let's have a look at the front pages now. The Times has the war in Syria as its main story on the front, bursting across its borders and into 2 neighbouring countries yesterday, less than 24 hours before that peace plan, widely considered, as the paper says, to be stillborn, was due to take effect.
The Telegraph says the Chancellor is going to go after wealthy tax dodgers. Interesting picture story, though. This is Christina Schmidt, whose husband there, Olaf, you remember, was killed by an explosion in Afghanistan a couple of years ago. She was on the programme a couple of weeks ago and has just announced that she has a new partner.
The Sun this morning has the story of Abu Hamza, and it says here that angry MPs are demanding that he should be kicked out of Britain today. Never mind what the European judges say. They say that the UK government should take unilateral action. The
Daily Mail says MI6 chiefs plan to offer more than £1 million in hush money to a Libyan who claims British spies sent him to be tortured by the Gaddafi regime. That's Abdul Hakim Belhaj.
Mario Balotelli on the front of the Daily Mirror this morning as well, and tough childhood that turned him into a football renegade is their line there, and a wealthy friend of David Cameron has been cautioned by police for harassment.
Press says there's a new eye test that could save the lives of millions of Britons by diagnosing deadly heart disease early. And Jessica Raine, who's in Called Midwives, explained that she had to make babies cry for the TV show. It sounds like awful, appalling cruelty. No, she just blew on their faces and it made them cry. Because when you've got the scene with a baby crying just having been born, you've got to get it to blow on its face. Apparently,
I'm sure it would recover from that experience. And the Daily Mail this morning is saying that Britain's Olympic hopefuls are being warned about shamelessly, as the paper describes it, tweeting adverts for products that they are being given. Athletes have been excitedly tweeting about new cars, benefits of face cream, and even about nail varnish, and apparently some of them being paid up to £500,000 to be the face of major brands. Wow. One car company said that its athletes were not contractually obliged to promote its cars on Twitter, but that they were very pleased they appeared to be enjoying them quite so much. Meanwhile, the Office of Fair Trading says it wants people to declare affiliations to brands on their profiles.
Oh, right. And here in the Daily Mirror, a lovely picture story of a thrush building a nest on some traffic lights in Eccles, in Manchester, just up the road. And they called it, of course, Thrush Hour Traffic. Oh.
Does it need to be moved for health and safety reasons, or is it quite clear what colour that light is?
Well, they've got chicks, etc. Can't move a thrush's nest now. Morning, Ben.
Morning to you both. That looks rather comfy, much like this sofa, I think. Very comfy sofa here.
Yes, you like it?
I like it in the studio.
Specially designed, actually.
Really? Mm-hmm. We can't have you sitting anywhere uncomfortable, can we? Thank you very much.
Not Bill, no.
Morning to you both. We're starting in the United States because $1 billion, that's about £600 million, on the photo application Instagram. Now, that it allows to try and solve £1.2 billion worth of debt. They say that's very crucial for the firm. It needs to resolve the problems there to secure its future, but it could mean that this restructuring deal could mean it pays much more for its borrowing. In front of that will be made abroad, not here in the UK. Unsurprisingly, you might suggest that China is responsible for much of those souvenirs. being made there, but 84% of those gift suggestions here that it is to be made abroad. Now, some other news for you. I'll see you then.
Thanks very much.
17 minutes past 6.
You're watching Breakfast from BBC News. Let's update you on our main stories this morning. Let's see what the weather has in store for us. Here's Carol, sampling the joys of spring in Banbury this morning. Morning, Carol. Thank you.
21 minutes past 6. Increasing numbers of people needing to borrow cash for short periods has meant that the so-called payday loan has become something of a booming industry. The loans pay out money almost immediately, sometimes in minutes, but with interest rates of up to 2,000%.
Yes, the companies that do it are licensed by the Office of Fair Trading, but now there are concerns that some lenders are breaking consumer credit laws. And Paul joins us now. Very good morning to you,
Hello.
Paul. Are some of these companies breaking the law?
Well, I think some of them...
Fair Trading investigating about 50 firms.
Yes.
What action can it actually take?
Well, what it can do, it's looking at them at the moment. It's looking at the big...
All right, Paul. Thanks very much indeed.
Can I just say...
Yes.
I'll be back later, anything else, for Give People's Views, and they're coming in already.
Yes, brilliant.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, do get in touch with us if you have a question or an issue that you would like Paul to look into.
26 minutes past 6. This is Breakfast, and still to come this morning, exactly 100 years since the Titanic set sail from Southampton. We're live on board a special cruise ship retracing the liner's final journey. Good morning, this is Breakfast with Susanna Reid and Bill Turnbull.
Thank you for joining us today from our new home in Salford. A full roundup of the morning's news is on its way, and Sally will be here with the sports news shortly.
And later on the programme this morning, you'll remember the shocking story of James Cazares and James Cooper, who were shot dead last April while on holiday in Florida. Well, now their friends are giving Breakfast their first TV interview, as they've set up a charity here to prevent violent crime. They'll be talking to us at 8:10.
Also ahead this morning, as it's the start of a new tax year, we're going to be looking at where you can get the best deals on your bank accounts and credit cards.
We're on board a special cruise retracing the course of the Titanic exactly 100 years after it left port in Southampton.
And after 8:30 this morning, Connie Fisher, former star of The Sound of Music, of course, will be with us as she takes on a new challenge. And also we're going to be joined by Jethro Tull's Ian Anderson, who is going to be playing the flute live here in the studio.
That's worth waiting for. Now, let's get to our main news this morning. Human rights judges in the European Court are to decide in the next few hours whether 6 terrorist suspects can be extradited from the UK to the United States.
Later on Breakfast this morning, we're asking a human rights lawyer whether Abu Hamza's case will have wider implications for the justice system here in the UK. That's at 7:10 this morning.
David Cameron's arrived in Japan at the start of a tour of Asia. The trip's intended to encourage greater British trade in the region. While he's there,
hopes for an end to the bloodshed in Syria are fading as an internationally backed deadline passes for government troops to withdraw from the country's towns and cities.
Police in Northern Ireland have arrested 6 people after the real IRA threatened more attacks on police and soldiers. The warning was...
Talks aimed at averting a strike by fuel tanker drivers will resume today after discussions described as constructive were held before Easter.
And a third lucky ticket holders come forward to claim their part in the world's biggest ever lottery jackpot.
The winner, say,
with about £130 million in the bank. That brings you right up to date with the time at 27 minutes to 7. Carol will have the weather in about 10 minutes' time.
And Sally is back with all the sports news.
That's
again, Sally.
probably £400 million. It is. It's a lot of money. Should we start with Chelsea in that race for 4th spots in the...
Marathon was hard enough.
Yeah.
You see pictures of people doing it in intense heat over
and
a
freezing
week.
cold. And you know how during the marathon you have little drink stations, so you stop and have water? In the Arctic, they have hot drinks.
Yes.
Try and keep their body temperature
Which do you think's
up.
harder?
I wouldn't.
In the Arctic, you're running, you're going to get a little bit warm, aren't you?
People get terrible injuries.
Yours?
Oh, I feel really...
But that should make you feel better.
Yes, yeah.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. You're right. You're so right. I now feel more confident.
It's a hop, skip and a jump, isn't it?
Is it? That's how I'll do it then.
Thanks
very much indeed, Sally. 6:39.
David Cameron starting a major tour of Southeast Asia today with the aim of promoting British business interests.
The first stop is Japan, where he's going to Nissan's headquarters to talk about the new jobs the company is creating there. Roland Burke. Thanks very much indeed, Roland Burke, reporting from Tokyo for us.
I was wondering which was coming first faster, the pictures or the sound on Roland's signal, because he was a little bit out of sync. Did you notice?
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
it wasn't your telly,
listening.
it was the way it was happening. How well do you think you know your neighbours? Will you have trouble recognising them on the street? Well, new research claims a quarter of people in the UK don't even know the name of the person they live next to.
But one street in Sheffield seems to be bucking that trend. The neighbours there have lived side by side for the last 50 years and have become firm friends. So Jenny Hill went to meet them.